welcome our next TED-like talk speaker.
And hello Bangalore. This is a very, very surreal moment for me. I started my journey 15 years ago from this very city, and then I moved to Australia and had my second phase of career over there. And now I'm back in the city on the stage, and I'm nervous as hell. So please excuse my language. I hope you enjoy this talk. I stand before you as the CEO of Dot Infinity, a product and design strategic advisory that helps organizations look for workflow optimizations and cost savings by looking at the employee experience with the aid of AI and deep tech. And our purpose is to bring the human back into AI, to make sure that human is still at the center of every problem that we are trying to solve. I've got two kids. One is a 10-year-old that I call my son, and the other is a 40-year-old that I call my husband. And trust me, sometimes the 10-year-old is a lot more easier to handle than the 40-year-old. And as a typical Indian mother, I'm very concerned about what his career choice in the future will be. And trust me, I'm a very liberal mom. I'm very open to any career choice that he wants to make. He can do whatever he wants. So one day I asked him, "Beta, tu doctor banega ya engineer? You're going to be a doctor or engineer? Please tell me honestly. Or you can also be a UX designer. I'm very happy to support that. You know, you have the entire world for you." And he looks at me, he rolls his eyes and says, "Mom, I'm not going to be any of these. I'm going to be an author." And I'm like, "Are you mad? An author does not earn any money. If you're a J.K. Rowling, then it's fine, and you're definitely not a J.K. Rowling, so you won't have any money in life. Who is going to feed you? And most importantly, AI is going to take over your job." So he looks at me and he says, "Mom, AI can design as well. AI will take up UX designer jobs as well." So I'm not going to go into where that debate eventually went, but what I want to say is, it actually did bring this moment of reflection for me. And I started to think, what is the future for us? Where are we going to be? Or where are we headed as UX designers? And one thing is true, no matter what, that 5 years from now, our profession is not going to be the way it is today. Let's take a step back into history. At the onset of the Industrial Revolution, the handloom workers were massively threatened by the industrial looms. So because of the industrial looms, the cost of production of textiles massively came down, and the amount of textiles that could be produced was also huge. But that also threatened their jobs. They faced an existential crisis. And as a result, they protested. They protested big time, breaking up every industrial loom that they could come across. And that is known as the Luddite Revolution. And the handloom workers were known as the Luddites. Today, at this point of time, we are at the same crisis situation, where the cost of producing design is nearing zero. The time to produce a design artifact is nearing zero. So essentially, AI is able to do or replace a lot of the tasks that we used to do earlier. So will designers be truly replaced by AI in another 5 years or so? Is design facing an existential crisis? And if UX research can be replaced by, high-powered insights from AI tools, if AI can generate high-quality design artifacts or beautiful tonally appropriate copy, then should we start planning for our own funerals, or rather the funeral of design thinking? As practitioners and leaders in design, How do we plan for a future of our teams when we ourselves don't know whether there's a tomorrow for us? I know it's a really grim note, but what I want to tell you is design is in the heart of innovation for every organization. So let's have a look at what's happening at an organization level. In a recent survey conducted by Boston Consulting Group for about 1,000 industries, they found that 83% of the industries rank innovation and design as the top 3 priority. That's big, so we are still important. However, innovation readiness has steadily declined over the last 2 years. So there's a massive 17 percentage point drop, which essentially means that even though innovation is the top 3 priority for us, we are not really ready for innovation. The industries are not really ready. Looking at AI, 61% of organizations have adopted AI into their workflow, and they have spent massive amounts of money in order to do that. And 83% of that 61% have specially implemented AI towards innovation use cases. However, only 45% of them have been able to realize a business impact. Why would that be? Why are we not able to reach our full potential when we are powered with AI, even though, AI is supposed to be super smart, it's supposed to be super quick, super efficient. We are able to do so many tasks which we were not able to do in a certain amount of time. Let's look at design thinking. And, we all know this dude, the beautiful double diamond. And let's have a look at what's happening over here. Over the years, we have come up with a myriad amount of methodologies to supplement a design thinking process. From user research and insights to ideation, and now they're getting augmented by analytics, data science, behavioral science, and whatnot. And probably there's a generative AI tool for each of these technologies. So we can actually execute each of these tasks very efficiently now. But we all know, all of us present over here, that design is much, much, much more than just a set of AI tools helping you do your research or carry out design. I'm going to quote my favorite pop culture example. So if people who are DC fans over here, please excuse me. You've been given an Iron Man suit. And all of you over here are the Tony Starks of design. Are you going to put on that Iron Man suit yourself? Or are you going to, let the suit do its job on its own? And that's a fundamental question. There's a reason why Tony Stark is known as Iron Man and not the suit by itself. So how do you help your team be the best that they can be? What is the superpower that we'll give them? Now, design in an organization is never in isolation. It's hugely impacted by multiple factors which surround it. Let's look at those factors. The first one is leadership. How is design backed by your leadership in your organization? What are the KPIs? Are they in line with, in a way that's conducive to a good design practice? What about people and culture? Are the people and culture and the teams positioned in a way, the team dynamics in a way that is conducive to design? Are they nurturing towards design and customer experience? Organizational values. What are the values that are holding the organization together? Are those values speaking to customer experience and people experience? What are the tools and processes that are supporting the team? Does the team have the right kind of tools and processes for different problems of different complexities? And then finally, the non-negotiables. Non-negotiables are those that the team has no control over, yet they chart the very direction that design takes. Your non-negotiables are the funding that your team has to execute a project. It's the timelines, the deadlines that you have, and finally, the third one is the technology limitations. So what are all of those? And all of these together eventually chart the direction, or rather the success or the failure of your design outcomes. So now, where does AI fit into all of this? At the very basic level, you would say that AI will fit really well under tools and processes because it is technically a tool, and then it helps augment your processes and so on. However, in a very, very near future, AI is going to be all-pervasive. Let's now take a step into the future and look at what each of these aspects will look like. And I promise you these are just some of the predictions which I am making based on all the data that's out there. So please excuse me if I go grossly long. Leadership. Leadership is going to be increasingly led by AI-led insights and data. The strategy in an organization will be shaped by the leaders being informed by the predictive capabilities of AI. And the organizational structures will be shaped in a way that houses not just AI, not just people, but AI agents as well. Speaking of AI agents, the people and culture will be structured in a way that people are continuously talking to AI agents as well. As a leader or as a design leader, you will not just be responsible for the people in your team, but by the AI agents that are executing the jobs for you. The organizational values will be increasingly data-led. So every value will be shaped by the data that's surrounding it, that's feeding it. It will also be informed by the gaps that AI can't fill, like ethics, like deep thinking, human creativity, sustainability. Those will be the true aspirationals. Tools and processes, as we all already know, tools will continue to get even more hyper-contextualized, hyper-customized, and processes will be more and more integrated in a way that the organizational silos will increasingly become a blur. There wouldn't be any organizational silos. So that's actually a good thing for us. The non-negotiables will probably stay the same, but they will also evolve. For example, your funding structures will be different. Your deadlines might be much more faster because now execution is much faster. And your technological boundaries or limitations would get new boundaries or new frontiers. So what does that collectively look for design? Because all of these aspects are going to influence design, design is also going to be AI-led. So in the future, looking back at our design, our double diamond, our ideas will possibly definitely be AI-led. Already today, a lot of you are using ChatGPT, let's be honest, in generating ideas, getting hundreds of ideas in one go. Prototyping, obviously, is going to be a set of prompts. Quickly type it in, and there you have your prototype ready. Already quite a lot of tools are there which do your prototyping for you. Testing and refining will be AI-led. Now, a lot of testing tools are getting increasingly more and more sophisticated so that you can get behavioral analysis, qualitative and quantitative analysis through that. Defining the problem. Defining the problem will be AI-led, if not AI-driven, because a lot of it will be fed by the data and insights that you get from AI. Now let's look at this last dude over here, empathizing, or empathy. Empathy can be mimicked by AI, but you can't really generate empathy. AI can't generate empathy. So empathy is that one truly human value that AI cannot replace. So, in a way, that is one superpower that you can have as a designer. In fact, that's not the only superpower. I mean, come on, how good is an Iron Man suit if it just has one superpower, right? It needs to have a few more. So, the next superpower is curiosity. The ability to willingly seek knowledge and connect the unconnected dots. And community. The ability to come together as humans, to exchange ideas, to interact, and eventually have a shared purpose. These three are those superpowers that will ensure that design remains sustainable and it is human-led and not AI-driven. So, what does the future look for these superpowers? We have been speculating about the future state of a lot of things. How does it look like for empathy? So, empathy is going to be in abundance in the future. And the reason why I say that is because we are surrounded by information right now. We are surrounded by experiences that are bombarding us. We are surrounded by emotions that are bombarding us. And with the growth of information and knowledge, it's going to continue to be even more. So there are two things that can happen. Either we can be completely desensitized, or we can be overwhelmed. And the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic showed that it was actually more the latter than the former. We were bombarded by so much of information. You could see empathy flowing across the world. So, empathy is also a double-edged sword. Too much of empathy can create a bias. That definite bend towards something without a reason, without balancing it out with rational thought. So as designers, we have to be extremely careful that our empathy is not colored by bias. And as designers, we have the foresight and the thinking and the ability to be able to channel our empathy in a way so that it's away from prejudice, it's away from irrational thought, it is not colored by bias, and in fact it is focused on the user and the problem that we are trying to solve for them. So we can actually filter out the noise. Looking at curiosity, what does that look like in future? Human curiosity is a remarkable thing. It will continue to be a very interesting companion and complement to AI. While AI excels in collating large amounts of data and creating rationale behind it, human curiosity is actually great at creating surprising discoveries as well as connecting the not so obvious. So both of them actually complement each other greatly, and that can be an amazing augmenting of capabilities for you guys. As designers, we are inherently trained to be curious. So curiosity is a superpower that will help us unravel the not so obvious from the obvious. Oops, sorry, I'm going back in my slides. Community. With the rise of so many digital networks, we've become global citizens. Now we can connect to any person across the world through platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, and whatnot. But it has also given rise to hyper-local communities, because while we connect virtually with people across the world, we are also connecting to a lot of people close by, and we are finding that shared sense of purpose. As humans, we have that innate need to connect. However, our sense of well-being is decided by the physical communities we connect to. In the future, we will have virtual communities where AIs and humans will interact and bond much more freely and very openly. However, our sense of well-being and wellness will come from the physical communities that we are part of. And design can help channel this into positive experiences by giving those communities a shared purpose. So now that we have these three superpowers, they actually become the essence of true human creativity, which can never be replaced by AI. So back to my original questions. Is design facing an existential crisis? And is design thinking dead? The answer lies with you as a designer. If you continue to build on these three superpowers that I have talked about today, we can ensure that human creativity will never die, and designers will forever be relevant. So if you have to take anything from today's talk, because my time is up, I'll be very quick. Build genuine empathy, which is bias-free. Stretch your curiosity to the non-obvious, and put your physical community and its well-being at the center of your design process. Continue to stay creative, because from human-centered design, we have the potential to evolve into humanity-centered design. Finally, I just want to say thank you for having me today on the stage, and a small surprise giveaway. On 15th of October, my team is going to release the AI strategy canvas globally in collaboration with Miro. If you scan this QR code, I can keep you posted, and you'll get an invite to the virtual event, as well as you will be able to download the canvas. So thank you so much for having me there. Stay creative, stay connected. Thank you.